Welcome. Well, you finally made it. What an exciting time it's about to be. On behalf of Blank Stage, we are all so excited you are here today to play, to participate, and to learn the most treasured story formula there ever was. The story of you, the monomyth. Now, before we start to play the game, there are a few things that we need to go over. So this video, and the purpose of this video, is to speed things along. So while it may be lengthy, the purpose of the video is to help prepare yourselves, to brace your imagination, to go where no imagination has gone before. Now look around the room. It might be you, or it might be the person you're looking at, but someone in the room will be the screenwriter. One of you will act as if you are in charge of the entire story and have the final say of how the story unfolds. You're needed. Without you, the story will crumble, become too random. It needs you to bring it back, to have it make sense and have cohesion. Now, once you decide who in the room will be the screenwriter, please go ahead and hand them the book. This is most important. For in this book is held the story, the rules, and the setups of each scene. And we ask, if this is your first time playing the game, you stick to the rules so that you can create the habits that thus create the behaviors to create most excellent gameplay. And that's what we're looking for. For you and your friends to play this game and have a beautiful time. And hopefully you'll share it with us. Now that you have the screenwriter figured out and they're looking over the workbook, let's go ahead and get a few things out of the way. The first thing is, as you may or may not know, this story that you're playing takes place in Holiday Town. Everyone in Holiday Town is getting ready for the holiday season. And so there's various locations that occur that are there in this town. So let's go ahead and pause the video and get no less than 20 locations for the screenwriter. Screenwriter, take a pen, take a blank piece of paper, and go ahead and write down 20 locations that the other players call out. Now please try to make interesting creative choices. For example, you might say the store. Try to challenge yourself to something other than the store. Maybe it's the 4-door store, the store with no windows, the all-the-time discounted store, the sock store, the umbrella store. Something that gives it a little bit of color, description in the environment. And this will help create the illusion of different environments and help the actor create a platform. Go ahead and pause the video, go ahead and create 20 locations, and we'll see you right back. Great. Now that you have 20 locations, screenwriter, go ahead and take another blank piece of paper, or it could be on the same piece of paper, and write down 20 objects. We ask that every scene starts with the giving of a gift. So one player will start the scene, the other player will be off stage, watching player A create the environment, and then enter into the scene with a gift. So go ahead and pause the video, and again create 20 gifts that aren't just the hammer, the dull hammer, the brand new hammer, the hammer with 2 bits, the broken-ended hammer, the blue hammer. So give it some kind of interest, an imaginational wrapping of your gift. Does that make sense? So go ahead and pause the video and give us 20 gifts, 20 objects, 20 items that you think that you can imagine could be discovered, could be found, could be bought and offered in the town of Holiday. Okay, great. So now, screenwriter, you should have a list of 20 locations, another list of 20 objects. So this is really all you guys need to start the game. Now, you must decide who will play what archetype? We need a hero, a villain, a mentor, an ally, a shapeshifter, a prince or princess, and maybe a joker. And if you have enough players, an historian. Now, if you have more than 7 or 8 players, you could potentially have 2 allies, a couple different princesses, a couple different mentors, things like that. Alright, now in order to figure out what archetype you're going to play, let's quickly go over the different archetypes. Now, I say quickly, but this has taken me a lifetime to understand, and believe me, I don't have all the nuances figured out of each of the archetypes. That's why I love the game, because I learn something different about my own journey, about my own life, every time I play it. In fact, the only way I will do the game is if we play the game. If you know me, you know that's true. So, we'll first go over the hero. Hero, you are the one that the audience is cathartically living the story through. They are you. Oftentimes, to make the hero relatable, you must show vulnerability. When bad things happen to you, you don't have the answers. Let them hurt you. Feel them. Understand the consequences of each painful act that is bestowed upon you. You will be given bad news. Your mentor may or may not die, but your mentor will be hurt forever. Your ally will be wounded, hurt. They may die too. The prince, the person you love the most, prince or princess. Now that you have all the locations of your story ironed out, you have 20 good objects that you're going to infuse in the story, you have identified the screenwriter. Now we must decide which of you will play what archetype. Now, before I go into detail of these archetypes, I must confess that I don't have all the answers or all the insights or knowledge about each one. In fact, that's why I play the game. I find after every rehearsal or every show or every time I've taught or practiced this game, I've learned something new. In fact, that's why I do it. Because it always changes, it always morphs, it always evolves. But I can give you, I think, a really good overview so that you can begin to play the game and start experiencing these things for yourself. So let's start with the hero. Hero. Of all the archetypes, you are the entity, the energy, that most identifies with the psychosis of the audience member. Now, every audience member can relate to pain, heartache, very tough decisions. So throughout the story, hero, you're going to be given terrible news and tremendous challenges. You're going to lose friends. You're going to be asked to face a terrifying villain. It's key to play these circumstances with a sense of indecision, vulnerability, fear. Because the audience members can relate to these emotions. You don't have all the answers, so don't pretend you do. And when you're hit with terrible news, you want to portray it as a breaking of trust within you. And something that you hold so dear has been stolen, taken. So that the audience can then begin to feel with you and understand and relate to circumstances that they also have experienced in life. So you're going to move along with the story. The other archetypes are going to push and pull and give you information and lie to you and urge you and tell you secrets and bring you to different locations and mentor you and all these wonderful things. And at the very end of the story, when you face the villain, that's when you really have your monologue and you really begin to put it all together and face the villain. And boy, throughout the story, you're picking up all these tidbits and just waiting to go face to face, toe to toe with that evil character. Now, you're going to kill the villain with kindness because you're going to bring back the times that you once had with the villain, the treasured moments, those beautiful experiences. Okay, now let's move on to the villain. One of you will play this colorful, dastardly, awesome archetype. You represent the placing of obstacles in the story. You're going to make it very difficult for the hero to even exist. You despise the hero. In your mind, something the hero did to you was intentional, and so you seek revenge. You're out to break the hero's heart and take everything away from him they hold dear. In the very beginning, it's perceived that you were once friends, but news was given to you that you took the wrong way. You saw it as a betrayal. It could have been just a misinformation. But no, you go on and you create and you build a dynasty that grows in power, that grows with financing, money, power, status are all yours. You begin to recruit people. You recruit the minion, the person that will work for you. You connect with their sense of abandonment in the world they live in. You recruit them. They want to be you. You use them. You don't really love them, but you use them to serve you, to get back. Eventually, as you grab power, you will kill or destroy the mentor. You will capture the prince or princess. You will torture them. You will cause great pain towards the hero's ally, and then you will face off with the hero, and you will relish every second because you want that hero to see what you've created without them. But as the hero faces off to you, you will listen. For the first time in the show, you will also show vulnerability. You will be reminded of love, of who you really are. You've just been masquerading behind this mask the whole show, and the hero will take off your mask and love you for who you are, accept you for who you are. This will break down all the facade. It's a beautiful moment in the end of the story, and that's what you're fighting for as a player. To turn your villains into allies. Isn't that everyone's goal? So let's go back over to the hero and let's talk about the ally. Ally, you are probably the most fun archetype. You're fun because you're true to the hero. You love the hero. The hero has done great things and has helped you in many great ways, and you're in the show to give back. Now sometimes you get paid off maybe to be an ally, but it's proven throughout the show that you will not let the hero down. You will save the hero in times of peril. You will show the hero, you will escort the hero to different places. You have different modes of transportation. You know the town of Holiday very well. You know where to buy stuff. You know where to sell stuff. You know where to find things. You're very resourceful. You have relationships with different places, and all the places that you wrote down are locations that you have knowledge about. You've met those people who know everything about that particular town. That's you, ally. So you're always there with an encouraging word. You will never let the hero down. And you oftentimes will cheer the hero up throughout the story. Now you will get hurt. You will not kill the villain. That's the hero's job. But you will do everything in your power to protect the hero until that final moment when you're stopped and the hero must face the villain by himself. But boy, are you proud. You are so proud of the hero when they defeat the villain. It's what you've been working for. And your sense of pride will be felt in the hearts of the audience members. Now let's talk about the minion. Minion, you're an archetype that's connected to the depression of the world in Holiday. You're isolated, you're alone, you're vulnerable to persuasion, and that's exactly what the villain does. They find you in a location and are empathetic to your jaded thoughts and create a fork in the road for you. The villain recruits you, and you go because you have someone that you feel understands you. And you go and you do exactly what the villain says because, boy, do you want that villain's power. You feel it. And so you carry out the agenda of the villain. You will trap the prince or princess, and you might kill the mentor under the direction and directives of the villain. But in the end, you will be destroyed by the ally or hurt by the ally, and you will watch the villain be defeated before your eyes. It's a fun archetype. You can be quirky, you can be off, weird, strange. All these different things is really becoming the screenwriter wants the minion to be. Moving over to the team hero, let's talk about the prince or princess. This is a wonderful archetype. prince or princess, you have a defect. Something is wrong with you. And I don't mean you could have an emotional defect, you could have a physical defect, something that will create sympathy for the audience. So that when you get captured, the audience will say to themselves, oh no, not the guy who can't hear so well or can't see so well. And the resounding urge of the audience will be felt for that hero to go and save the prince or princess. They want that character to be saved because it's endearing. You show this by expressing your love and vulnerability to the hero. So that when you get captured, the hero is prone to come capture you because they want that love back. They want to fight for your heart, fight for your love. So you'll get captured and you'll get tortured by the villain. Now, a great way to show the power of the villain is through the performance of the prince or princess. So while you're being tortured, you're showing the painful results of that torture. And have fun. Being tortured is a lot of fun in a show. Alright, so going back to Team Villain, we're going to talk about the shapeshifter a little bit. Now, the shapeshifter can go from good to bad or bad to good, but oftentimes the shapeshifter works in collusion with the villain and is working undercover, befriends the hero, and leads the hero to a trap. When the trap is ensnared, the villain is revealed, and the hero looks upon the shapeshifter with shock. How could the friend of the team hero be responsible for bringing this up or for bringing this circumstance about? You're a rotten guy. Now sometimes we'll shift back and forth, and I know that you can probably think in terms you've had friends like this, people that you feel will say things to agree with you, but then later they'll say something completely different. And they're always shifting their belief system, shifting what they are to you. And this is what the shapeshifter is. Now you can have a shapeshifter go from be on the good team, but be helping to work for you, helping to work for the hero, and that often works as well. And they can also flip-flop a few times in the show. Great, let's go back and talk about the mentor. Now, there's been great mentors in movies and film, and there is a reason why. Mentors have lived the journey. They've defeated similar villains in their own life. They understand what it takes to destroy or conquer the villain, and they've learned that the hero must go within to find their force. So when news of the prince has been captured, the hero goes to the mentor, and the mentor has beautiful scenes because the mentor understands where the hero is. But they're very wise, and they're helpful. In many ways, they're trying to help the hero out achieve his dreams. But particularly about the facing off with the villain. Here's where the mentor comes in handy. More than handy, is essential. You, mentor, must get on the same wavelength. You must become empathetic to the hero's plight. One of my favorite archetypes, but one that doesn't necessarily have to be included into the gameplay, is the historian. Now you, historian, are a treasure for the story, if we can have you. You bring a sense of nostalgia to all the characters and the scenes and the story. You have rich history of the circumstances leading up to our current situation. You provide tales of how the villain became the villain, of why certain things are in place, why certain things are in motion in the town, why certain people believe certain things. So you have books, you have access to items that weave this archetype, tablets, digital archives, library information, source documents, these sorts of things that can prove how you know what you know. So have fun with this archetype. You necessarily don't have a side. You could be, you're sort of neutral. A lot of these great archetypes don't really serve the hero, and they don't serve the villain, which makes them so unique and so interesting to play. Another great archetype to play is the Joker. This is a really fun archetype. Basically, the Joker's job is to fill in and to flesh out every environment. So every time we go into a new environment, the Joker is there to joke off the environment. It could be a barista at a coffee shop, an employee at the local gym, someone to give a little bit of business with the character that starts the scene, and then they're off. This person also should have a keen knowledge of the story, because this archetype can do little story drops as they enter and exit a scene. So oftentimes they're seen in the beginning, and they can often come back in at the end of the scene to help get us to the next phase. You can have an actor who's very good with voices, who likes to play different characters, and they can put on different wigs, different outfits to come on and do different things to help move things along. So cool. So I think I've done an adequate job of going over all the archetypes. So now that you can go ahead and get started, there are other different incarnations of the archetypes that I'm sure that you can add in your story. But for now, we'll go with these. So with this in mind, the very last thing we're going to go over are a couple of the rules in playing. We have discovered over the years that starting a scene with one player, creating the environment, while the other player is off to the side bringing in the gift. So be sure to follow this and create a habit of this, because this eliminates the problem of two actors starting a scene and then getting through what could be two actors having very different ideas and then working through that. And it's very nice to watch one actor create the environment, get a sense of where they are emotionally, and then the other actor bringing in the gift and the information needed to create that scene. In improv, you definitely want to agree. So if one actor brings a gift and they say it's a slimy snail, then you're going to love having the slimy snail. You can get a quick laugh if you say, that's not a slimy snail. But it ruins the trust between the two players, and that's not good. Avoid questions. So when you come into the scene, avoid saying, have you seen so-and-so, or do you know how to get there, or how are we going to figure this out? Work to make statements. And this is very hard to do at first. But you're going to find that as you train your mind to make statements, you're going to be creating the circumstances. You're going to be adding to the story. You're just not going to be taking away taking away the thunder from the other actors. You're constantly going to be working with the other actor, building content, building the structure. And it's really fun. And once you really get into it and understand how this works, it's an incredible power for the player. Alright, so there may be other rules that I'm not quite thinking of right now, but be sure, a screenwriter, to go over the book and make sure I didn't miss any. And overall, it's time to have fun. If I didn't have fun doing this, I wouldn't have been doing this for 20 years. I have had such rich experiences with actors on stage, just practicing this, teaching this, and you want to listen, you want to pay attention. You're all creating a story. You're all on the same team, working towards the fulfillment and the experience. And when you drive home and you think about what you did, you'll be able to see that you created an entire microcosm of a story. And maybe you can let yourself think and imagine that you yourself are the hero of your own story, so that you can better identify who the villain is in your story. And you can work to transmute your villains into into allies. You can. It's not easy, but there is a way. And it's a fun way. And in the meantime, you can control how you react and respond to the circumstances in life, and then pretty soon you'll figure out that you can create your own circumstances. You can call and do business with anybody you want to. Does that make sense? Alright. Well, signing off, giving the reins of the story to you. Have fun. If you can, videotape your show. We'd love to see it. We're excited about what's coming.